I grew up with John, my childhood friend, and the relationship with his mother, Amy, has always been difficult. When he decided to take care of me, I refused, not wanting her to become my mother-in-law because of everything I know about her. Soon after that, an emotional storm began, hateful messages from Amy and our common friends. I tried to sort out my feelings and maintain my friendship with John, but the tension was growing. After a frank meeting with Amy, something unexpected happened that changed everything. We 20F and my childhood friend John 22 meters grew up together. When he was 18, he joined the army, but despite this, we stayed in touch, and I even visited him once or twice where he served. I used to love John's mother. We'll call her Amy. But when I was 15, I heard her saying unpleasant things to John about me and my brothers and sisters. And she knew that I liked John then. Amy said nasty things, for example, that I could become a whore because my biological mother was like this. For the context, me, my brothers and sisters are adoptive, like all of Amy's children, or that my father told her that I don't wash. So I might have staphylococci, which is an absolute lie, because my father often complained to her that I take a shower too often. I like to feel clean, and I've always done that. Since I heard these things, I couldn't bring myself to stay as close to her as before. A few weeks ago, John came to visit, and Amy invited my family and a few other friends for dinner. I was very glad to see him, because we haven't seen each other for more than a year. I needed a break during dinner, and I went outside to get some fresh air and calm my nerves. After a while, John joined me, which was perfectly normal, as it allowed me to finally talk to him one-on-one. Mostly we just chatted and talked about random things until he asked if he could take care of me. It took me quite a long time to answer, but in the end I told him that I don't want Amy to be my mother-in-law, and I don't want to spoil his relationship with his mother, especially since they are so close. John looked very disappointed, but he said okay and changed the subject. I thought it would end there, but apparently he told his mother that he was going to ask me out on a date. And after my family left, she asked how it went. John, of course, answered honestly and told her that I said no, and also told her why I refused. And the next morning I woke up from a bunch of malicious voice messages and text messages from her and several mutual friends who called me an asshole for the fact that I refused John because I don't want Amy to be my mother-in-law. And that I'm a bitch since I don't love Amy, although she was very kind to me. And so on, and so on. I haven't answered a single call or message and, to be honest, I don't know how to do it. I didn't want to upset anyone, but I think my reasons are weighty. 4 lines. I told a childhood friend that I wouldn't accept his courtship because I don't want his mother to be my mother-in-law. Am I an asshole? Update. Later, on the same day, thank you all very much for your advice. They really helped me decide what to do in this situation. Before I explain my decision, I will answer some of the questions I was asked. My family is religious and probably a little old-fashioned. My parents always told me when I was growing up that dating is something frivolous and is not always done with the intention of getting married, while courtship is a more formal process with the intention of getting married in the long run. John grew up the same way, so in relation to me he asked if he could get close to me as a potential wife. I didn't tell anyone but my father what Amy said about me, because at that time she didn't want to create problems and spoil the relationship. My father understood why I didn't want to be close to Amy anymore, and never forced the relationship. I could change my mind if I wasn't required to have a relationship with Amy, except to see her from time to time at family celebrations and not talk to her. So I sent John screenshots of the messages I received. He called me and apologized, saying that he never wanted his mother to react like that, and that he told our conversation only because he was angry and upset. He said he wasn't mad at me because he understood my point of view. I told him what I heard, and he didn't deny it, and also said that she often talks nasty things about others, and that, obviously, she said nasty things about him and his brothers and sisters to other people. I thought she was talking nasty things about others, but not about her own children. John told me that he would talk to his mother, and he would also like us all to sit down and talk. I told him I'd think about it. I also sent screenshots to other friends who sent me unpleasant messages, and since then most of them have been very quiet. My father is also shocked by their behavior and does not talk to any of them. The same applies to my brothers and sisters, as well as friends who are on my side. Part to the next day, February 16, 2025. So, I have a short update. John called me about an hour ago and said that he talked to his mother and would like to know if I would agree to come this Wednesday to talk to her and him. I asked if I could take my father and older brother with me, and he agreed. He also asked if he could bring his grandmother, whom we will call Miss Mary, Amy's mother. I love Miss Mary very much. She's a wonderful person who can't tolerate shit from anyone and isn't afraid to put people in their place, even her own daughter. A wonderful Christian woman I haven't seen since I graduated from school, but I still call a lot. John and I spend half of our summer vacation at her house every year. She lives on a lake, and we loved kayaking and fishing with her husband. It was she who taught me how to sew, cook, and clean, as well as bake delicious treats. I love baking and often do it to relax. Her late husband was also an amazing man, and it was he who inspired John to join the army. So yes, I agreed to let Miss Mary come too. I really want to see her, because so many years have passed. Amy doesn't know that her mom is coming. John asked me not to tell her about it. He knows that otherwise she will be silky with his mother. So, I'm going to answer some of the questions I received in my last update before I tell you the news. Yes, I like John in terms of romance. The reason for my refusal is not that I don't like him, but that I don't want to have a mother-in-law who speaks badly about me or my family. I decided to arrange a meeting for several reasons. First of all, I wanted to know what position John and I are in and whether we can stay friends at all after that. Secondly, I wanted to finally tell Amy about her behavior not only towards me, but also towards others. Thirdly, I needed to know why John told her, and if it was as some of you thought, that he could do it to resist her or trust her. I don't expect Amy to ever change or apologize. At least, I'm unlikely to get a sincere apology. I also decided to tell you a little more about our relationship with John so far. As I said, John and I are childhood friends. Our fathers are also childhood friends, and our mothers met at the age of 20 and became friends. John and I did almost everything together until he joined the army when he turned 18. If I wanted to go to the cinema, I invited John, and we went together. If John wanted to go camping, we went together. We also have a lot of similar hobbies. We both like hiking and mountaineering, as well as swimming and running. As I mentioned in the last post, during the summer holidays, John and I lived in Miss Mary's house. Yes, Miss Mary taught me how to cook, clean, sew, and bake. But she did it because she didn't want me to be lazy and lie idle all summer. So why not make me work? At least that's how I understand it. She also made John work while we were there. So not just me. John helped Miss Mary's late husband to work in the yard and in the garage. So let's get down to business. At first, Miss Mary and my father were sitting in another room of John's house without Amy's knowledge. It was my father's proposal, and my brother recorded the initial conversation to share it with everyone else. I spoke first and explained my position. Amy tried to interrupt me while I was talking, but John stopped her every time. I told her that I didn't like the way she reacted when she heard that I didn't want her to be my mother-in-law, and that her friends pounced on me and said rude things was completely inappropriate. Then I mentioned that I heard her talking about me when I was 15, and then she started yelling at me. She said I've never said anything bad and you made it up, as well as I don't understand why you started talking about it now and didn't I help your brother go to college? And also aren't I there for you when your mother died? Didn't I comfort you? No, it wasn't. It was done by John, as well as Miss Mary, John's older brother and cousin, some other friends of mine, and, of course, my family. John stood up for me, but Amy only got more heated and started yelling at John until Miss Mary got bored and made herself felt. Amy almost immediately fell silent. Miss Mary immediately started scolding Amy for her behavior. Miss Mary didn't scream, she remained calm, but I've never seen her so disappointed before. To be honest, it was scary how calm she was, but at the same time angry. Have any of you heard the saying, there is nothing worse than quiet anger? Amy tried to justify her behavior in front of Miss Mary, but immediately stopped it after John showed her the messages I forwarded to him. She didn't apologize, which I actually expected, and left almost immediately after that. John and I discussed everything and decided that we should remain friends, at least for the moment. I asked if he was going to keep in touch with his mother. He said yes, but so far it's minimal. I also asked why he told Amy what I said, and he replied that he was upset, and she started bothering him with questions about how his proposal went. He said he was very angry with her, and it broke out. He apologized for it again. I also had a one-on-one conversation with Miss Mary. She apologized again for Amy's behavior. We ended up talking about John. She said that she always hopes that I would get engaged to John or John's cousin. Miss Mary said that I need to think carefully about what kind of man I want to see as my life partner and never settle for less, because if she agreed to less, she wouldn't have such a wonderful marriage with her late husband. She also invited me to come to her if I need a rest. She lives 6 hours away on a beautiful lake. That's actually all that happened. And I won't communicate with Amy anymore, and my father decided to do the same. I will continue to be friends with John and see what comes out of it. Thank you all very much for your advice. After the meeting, the life of a 20-woman, let's call her Anna, and 22-year-old John took a new turn. Despite the tense relationship with John's mother, they decided to continue developing their friendship. Anna felt freed from the burden of conflicts, but at the same time her heart was anxious. Every day Anna and John became closer, but their new rapprochement was burdened with Amy's shadow. After an unsuccessful meeting with Miss Mary, Amy decided not to ignore the situation. She began to use manipulations, trying to force John to break ties with Anna. Amy often told him that Anna was not worthy of him, that she had skeletons in the closet and was not a real family. John, on the one hand, tried to maintain a normal relationship with his mother, but deep inside he understood that it was wrong. His friendship with Anna was important, and soon he realized that there was more than just friendship between them. Feelings began to grow into something more. A few months passed, and one day, when John stayed at home for the weekend, Amy appeared unexpectedly. She tried to incite John against Anna, exposing her in a negative light. She won't take care of you like I do, Amy claimed, ignoring all the words John said that he decides who to spend time with. During this conversation, John remembered his childhood memories about how Amy begged him for a kind of complex messages for his girlfriends when he was little. It was a rather strange feeling to grow up, observing such a complex balance between maternal love and the need to be yourself. Despite the pressure from Amy, John decided to talk to Anna about his feelings. He invited her on a date to the local park, where they spent a lot of time as children. The peace and quiet of the surrounding nature helped them both relax and open up to each other. At that moment, John confessed, "I understand that my mother may not approve, but I don't want to lose you because of her actions." Anna felt the weight of the last month subside, and she blossomed again easily to heaven, finally exhaling. However, the emotional burden was still in the air. They started dating, but every week they faced new difficulties. Gold messages from Amy continued, and some mutual friends made a choice in favor of Amy, which made their situation even more vulnerable. Anna felt that her own family had temporarily chosen John and his mother as a country. One evening, when Anna and John were at a cozy party with friends, the conversation started about family and relationships. One of my friends asked about the future of the couple. Anna thought about how long it would be possible to hide the truth about the situation with Amy and how it would affect their prospects. The next day, reminding herself that hiding emotions was never her strong point, she decided to tell John the whole truth about what happened as a child and about her hatred for Amy. But the fear that he might perceive it wrong shattered her. John, meanwhile, started dating Anna from his side. He decided whether he should, unlike most young people of his age, leave the road and communication with his mother for the sake of a new life path. A few weeks later, the pressure from Amy was growing. She decided to arrange a family meeting to meet John and his sisters. On it, she showed all her anger and indignation about the relationship between her son and Anna. She said that all their friendship is doubtful, which will eventually break friendship and ties with many friends and family. Given the difficult situation, John decided to break his mother's frightening opponents. He returned to his roots of support and devotion. Perhaps it's time to reconsider the relationship, including with Amy. He decided to take a break in every way to think about what was going on. At first, there was silence, distancing him from his friends and Anna. As a result, the question of choice became relevant for both of them. Is it worth fighting for what they have or leaving before everything gets worse? Each of them has faced their inner demons, and now only time will tell whether they can find a way to end their temporary crisis.